I just want to wish you a warm welcome to Brussels. Thanks for having made it all the way to the capital of Europe, where the sun is shiny and the sky is blue, as you know.
For me, what are the characteristics of a true partnership? And I suppose you'd start with things like trust, mutual respect, loyalty, friendship, equality, mutual interest, confidence, stability over time, shared values. How can you test the quality of the partnership? I mean, I would say things like ease of access, ease of dialogue, non-confrontational, first port of call in an emergency.
For me, one essential, I don't know if it's a question or just a thought, would be, for it to be very, very clear how each one of these partners of the partnership have changed. Obviously using as the backdrop what has been up to now, the mutual interests, the commonalities, the parameters.
Yes, thank you very much. I think the first question is rather a difficult question. Essence of an ideal partnership. As Marie-Laure said, it all depends what your objectives are. What is it that you want to do with that partnership? I see very nice principles. They have been stressed by everyone so far, and they will be stressed, and they also have been mentioned in the background document. But what is the meaning of these principles if they did not work in practice? So I think the key question from my perspective is whether we will do a kind of a standalone reflection on improving what exists, or whether we really want to reframe this relationship with these groups of countries, and whether the ACP is still a relevant vehicle as a group to serve Europe's interests. That is for me the key question.
Is this a neo-colonial vehicle, or is it really a new type of collaboration, a real partnership, yes or no? Now that still is, I think, very much the question. And it is the question because now in particular also, because we have all these new developments, some people already sort of refer to them. We have new member states, a lot of them. We have new joint strategies with Asia, the Pacific and Africa. We have new political fora. Together, is the question, do we still need a treaty if we already have all these political strategies and foras, etc., etc.?
The multi-stakeholders element is one that I would like to really stress as civil society organizations. We are recognized within this partnership, and is an element that should be kept, because it's one thing having discussions between institutions, ACP and EU actors, but of course it's also about the people, the needs of the people, and society are those who are the closest to the people, so we are key actors to be kept in this partnership with other non-state actors.
We need to see the changes in the world and to create a partnership that responds to those changes with increased interdependence, diversity, etc. If you look at Africa, there's an extreme heterogeneity in the continent, so it's important to listen to the interests of the various countries and respond to that.
Completely politically, if we look at the political picture in the European Union as well, we have at least 13 countries now that are not having much from the relationship between the EU and the ACP countries, and this has to be taken into account as well.
We have to be clear as to whether we want a perfect, on paper, development partnership that has worked, according to some of you, very well, or whether we want to go more into a kind of strategic partnership that is interest-driven. And that is for me the question that came out of this first round of discussion.
Europe is the speech I used to give, is the most important peace builder in the world, and through peace comes institutional support, democracy, civil society, and all the rest of it. And it seems to me Cotonou has missed all that element I mean, looking in a very critical way now and picking up from my experience in different zones.
I don't think we should oppose development, the development partnership and the political partnership. Actually, in my mind, this is very much a strength of the approach, not again shying away from a discussion of what hasn't worked so well or what should work better, but the fact that development cooperation is one of the dimensions and one of the tools.
The message should be sent to everybody that we're giving this up, that we're starting anew right now, that we want the cooperation to start anew. And by this, I'm not saying that we should lose everything that we had until now. All the positive issues like tools, like the principles, like someone mentioned the APF, the cooperation as it is, of course it should remain, we shouldn't change that. But the message, the political message behind ACP, when we mention ACP, it's always the same equal sign. I mean, it's the post-colonial cooperation.
Yeah, what do we do with all those institutions? Are they really cost effective, as already has been mentioned? What do we do with the head of states meetings, with the parliamentary council, etc.? Are they really contributing, or are they not more than a sort of circus?
What is the trend in the post-2015 debate? That is that we are moving beyond this North-South paradigm towards a kind of universal agenda. And there I'm wondering whether a North-South partnership, because Cotonou is a typical aid partnership, development partnership, whether this still fits with the post-2015 agenda, where we are looking much more for addressing global challenges together as countries globally.
I think there are big issues still out there which haven't been resolved about how the European Union speaks with one voice. I think there has to be a new reflection on how to have dialogues which are informal, which are really go below the surface, and to try to understand how institutions can work better together. A lot of the acquis, I agree with a lot of the movement around the table, a lot of the acquis is very sensible and well placed, but I think there hasn't been an adequate assessment, in my view, of how this comprehensive toolbox can really work.
That we would like to keep the link between trade and values. What can be changed, and several people already mentioned that the institutional efficiency is something that we need to look into. In the area of trade, it's becoming more and more important in the sense that within each EPA there will be institutions. There will be institutions at the different levels, expert level, parliamentarian level.
What came out of the discussion is that we need to have a kind of logical sequence between first looking at strategy and then maybe afterwards look at the institutions. Institutions always follow strategy. So if we start with the strategy, the strategic orientations, I think that there is a kind of consensus around this table that the partnership should be more political, that it should be beyond development, that it should be beyond a post-colonial type of construction. How we will do this is not so evident always, I would say.
Besides having an agreement, written terms agreed upon, we have to also think about mechanism structures for implementation for the Cotonou, the provisions of the agreement to be translated in concrete terms.
There was a sense that there needs to be an agreement for the 21st century. That was a line that came out. We have to take account of the fact the world has changed since 1975, a very different world. We have to take account of a new global agenda, a new global picture, new global challenges. We also have to take account of the heterogeneity of all the partners. And we shouldn't forget the acquis. The acquis is important. There are bits of Cotonou which work very well. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater was the phrase that was used.